ADVENTUBE Day 19. Today's question is some variation of, do I know what a steam witness does? And is that a job that I would want? And the answer to both of those questions, unfortunately for me, is no.
Hey everyone, Sean S. Porter here with another ADVENTUBE. Today's question is, what do I think witnesses do? And would I consider doing it? Well, they run nodes, and those nodes serve as or somehow become blocks for us to complete actions and make changes on the blockchain. So I guess that's the most important thing they do. They sort of act as the steem or a steem governing body. But yeah, the most important thing to do is create those nodes. I think they have to be on 24/7. It's lots of computational power. So as far as like starting it up and doing it yourself, it's easier said than done. There's definitely some hurdles, but I definitely would consider it, all things being equal and fair. I don't have any great technical insight into what they do. I'm just now starting to learn myself. So yeah, there we go.
I think witnesses, this is from my from what I've read and from my knowledge gain. What I believe the core responsibility of witnesses is to ensure that the steeming blockchain is active and functions smoothly, takes care of it. Any maintenance, technical maintenance work that happens is done by them. So the smooth functioning of the blockchain is actually taken care of by witnesses, is what I believe. That's what my understanding is.
You know what? This whole thing, everything that's pretty much gone down this week in terms of like these conversations that we've been having about the blockchain, realizing that Steem Inc. is not responsible for our blockchain future. Something I'm personally realizing. Yeah, it kind of does make me want to be a witness. But I think, well, let's start here. What do witnesses do? From my understanding, witnesses are responsible for keeping a copy of the blockchain and making sure that everything that goes on with it is verified. See, I don't even know how to describe it properly. I know witnesses are bigwigs. I know that people vote for witnesses. I know that there is a technical aspect, and then there's kind of also a not very talked about, just an implied social aspect. I think witnesses are seen as community leaders. They're seen as guardians of the galaxy.
As far as the Steem blockchain goes, I feel what the witnesses do, as in my limited knowledge of it, is they are a node connected to other nodes, which are witnesses. There's lots of different types of witness nodes to do with the way that information is passed within them, around them, and how they sync with each other to keep each other up to date. And they are the blocks of the ledger that is passed around, and some of them are queries, so that you can query these nodes. Some of them are full nodes that have a full copy of the ledger, and they basically keep in sync with each other. And there's a bunch of features that those witness nodes can do, including setting, pricing, and things like that. So that's my limited knowledge of witnesses, and I don't require to know any more than that. I don't want to be the biggest nerd in the shed.
I kind of never knew what was a Steem witness for pretty much, because I'm almost up to my year anniversary, and I say pretty much for like the first 10 months I kind of like went in and out of knowing what a witness is, and then recently kind of like had a look and for different witnesses, kind of looking at their appeal and figuring out what they do and why they're on, and why they want votes and stuff. So I believe witnesses are there to, because the whole Steem blockchain is decentralized, but people, in order to keep the blockchain working, people need to do their own part, confirm transactions, confirms blocks that have been created. Winners are Steemians, in this case in the Steem blockchain. Steemians are truly invested in the Steem blockchain by putting in their work and effort, by creating communities, building and developing apps.
In my opinion, Steem witnesses are backbone of Steem blockchain, and that is because they create server and they give backup of infrastructure to Steem network. And no matter you are in top 20 or in hundreds, if you have more, then Steem network will going to get strong backup. If one top witness stop providing his service or his contribution, then the next person can take up the role and all other witnesses can perform the role of backup. The more backups we have, the more strong network we are. I don't want to be a witness, but why not? One day. Let's see.
I like the luxury of not knowing. Only because it's really just not what I'm good at. Now, does that mean things might change down the road and I could be very interested in taking part in or developing or being part of a Steem Witness account? No, not at all. That could change, I would say, at any time. I mean, if my current financial situation were to change, or I would get together with a group and have a good idea and have our own witness, I would definitely be down with that. We had a steaming pile last night, and Joseph Savage came on from Steem Basic Income, and I know one of the goals for his project is to own and operate a witness through that project. So that, like, being a part of that development team might be a path, right, for witness ownership. Now, I do know that they need to be running 24 hours a day. I do know there's definite costs, hard costs lined in with that, technology costs that are lined in with that. You also have to be able to have the programming and development knowledge to run the API and do what you need to do to run the witness. But really, that's where it breaks down for me, right? Because I'm not a development person. I'm more of a content person, more of a personality. I like the fact that system is set up to where it can allow people like me to come on and find my own community and share content and help better connect the community. So that's what I'm really more about with the steaming pile and with social broadcasting and things like that.
Would I consider being a witness? My answer is obviously no, because from my understanding, it requires a lot of technical know-how, which is something that I don't really have. I am not really knowledgeable in that field. I don't know if it's something that you can learn pretty fast too, but I don't know if that's the case. But if that's so, I could probably think of doing it. But if it's something that a lot of people, seasoned programmers, coders, people who spend a lot of time in coding and knows a lot of technical stuff are probably the best people to work on it, then that's something that I cannot and I would not be able to try.
I know that in order for hard forks to pass, witnesses have to reach a consensus and agree, like, this is what we're doing and this is how we're moving forward. But in terms of like what they do on a technical day-to-day, like how they keep their servers up and running and how they keep their copy of the blockchain in sync, I have no freaking clue.
They have a stake in the business, let's say. And the top 20 witnesses, I believe, have kind of a shared, let's say, interest and shared vote.
So I'm a little bit concerned as to how low level do you need to be? Do you need to understand C++ or the core architecture of how the Steem blockchain works to become a witness? Because surely people who want to secure the network because they want to have access to an immutable blockchain and the ability to build a business on top of it, running a witness, taking the load off the other nodes on the network seems a sensible approach, right?
One project in mind that was put together by Patrick Ulrich is called Witness Survey. It's at Witness Survey, so there's 3 S's in the middle, and that's a project that's geared towards better engaging users and witnesses, and where users can submit questions to the survey goes out, I think it's on a monthly or 2-month basis, to the witnesses reply, and then the Witness Survey account spits out a output of anyone any witness who responds, answers to their questions. So I'm going to be taking, and witness survey doesn't know this yet, but I've done content analysis research in the past. And so I'm going to be taking some of those surveys and creating some outputs for you all to kind of look at and ingest and invest some time to look at, so we can make better decisions. I mean, we have 30 votes individually for witnesses, and I believe we have a top 20 for witnesses that get a certain amount of power and things like that. So I think it's important, especially with Steam taking less of a role and having dApps and developers take more of a role. We're going to have to be better connected to witnesses and dApps and communities moving forward. So I'm looking forward to that, honestly. I guess that was an answer. But yeah, the answer really is no and no. I don't really know what witnesses do, and I don't want to do it right now.
To kind of decide not where the Steem blockchain is going to go, but like if there's an action that needs to be taken, they get like a significant vote to see if it gets taken or not, if you know what I mean.
Now, obviously, right now, a witness uses a hell of a lot of resources, mainly memory, because you could say that the code base is kind of inefficient. Steem D, I think, which is the tool, which is the actual app, the command line code that runs, which does all the syncing of the blocks or exchanging of the blocks, that only runs on one thread, I believe, whereas the CPU can have like 4, 8, 16, 32 threads. Most machines would probably have a quad core processor. That has not been optimized, or I don't know the reasons or the rationale behind it, but it only runs on one thread, so it's not getting even the full usage out of the machine, which kind of like blows my mind that we still have that issue. Now, I know they're working on a way to kind of off-chain some of the, not off-chain, but to take some of the pressure off the nodes by not having to have so much memory and slim that down using RocksDB, which will offload a lot of that in memory to fast SSD drives. And supposedly the handoff to that, I would have thought moving from RAM to SSD would be a bottleneck because of speed, but I'm presuming RocksDB is some kind of optimized application layer to the data, almost like a database designed specifically for SSD. That's my knowledge of it. There's going to be holes in it, I'm sure. Those are things that I would like to learn about. So yes, if the memory requirements comes down from having to have like 256 gig of memory, I don't think that's even the figure I've seen. I've seen some people running on 64 gig of memory. Maybe full nodes need a lot more memory. I've seen comments that they're trying to bring it down to like 4 gig, which that makes it really accessible to a lot of people to be able to run a witness server of some sort, be it RPC/API/full node. So there is some knowledge gaps that I need to learn about. But in 2019, if I do decide to build a project on top of the Steem blockchain, I think it makes sense for everybody who does that to have their own witness server of some sort. I'd be interested to find out from existing witnesses who say, you know, the network's fairly secure as it is, what the impacts of having, instead of just like 60 to 100 witnesses, what having 500 witnesses or backup nodes would do. I know probably a lot of people would say, well, we don't need that many, but from a marketing point of view, does that make the blockchain more attractive, that there is that much overage, that much redundancy in the network? I'd be interested in people's feedback about that.
You see, I'm still struggling. I think that's why the other question I had the other day or 2 days ago about education, what I need more to be educated more about on the Steem blockchain, would be like these things, like technical things.
Would I still want to be a witness? Yes, because I think I would love to, I want to be involved, like, in the community on that level, and I would love to have a little slice of the blockchain that I was responsible for in any way that I can help or, you know, contribute. That being said, I wouldn't even know where to start. I certainly am not able to do it from a financial perspective right now. But you know what, I've thought about that, and I was thinking maybe what we need we need a lot of things. This is not like anybody's to-do list, but it would be really cool if there was maybe like a lesser witness matching up site. Like, I think there are a lot of people who are extremely technically minded and who could handle the technical side of being a witness. And then there are also people who are more interested, like I am, in doing like the forward-facing part of being a witness. And the forward-facing part isn't a requirement, I don't think. I mean, I know there are like forums and there are witness meetings and people who talk. There are a lot of people who talk. No shade! So shady this week, I'm sorry, it's no shade. But I think it would be cool to be, oh no, my camera's sliding.
I cannot explain it yet in layman's terms, so that's kind of the best I could do in terms of answering this question. And hopefully when I see the video back and the other two people's explanation, or whoever else joins in, I could probably get a better idea.
I think it would be really cool to do witnesses as a partnership. Like, I know Crimson Clad runs a witness with a partner. I think that is so cool because it can match people's strengths in terms of like what they prefer working on. I would love to, like I said, I would love to run a witness in the sense of being able to help the community and have a say in what goes on with the Steem blockchain, and just like to carry some of the burden myself. In that aspect, I'd love to be a witness. Do I know what is required in order to run a witness server? No, absolutely not. So I would need like a partner to do that with. So I think it would be really cool if there was some way of people linking up and saying like, hey, like let's maybe even 3 or 4 of us run a witness server together. I'll be responsible for this, this, and this, and people can match their skills up. Almost like a little bulletin board, or like seeking this type of a witness partner. I don't know. Maybe I don't know anything about witnesses and that suggestion doesn't even make sense. But I'm here. This is a 6-minute video, and my camera was just falling. So I'm gonna call it.
But yeah, check out Witness Survey and check out the Steaming Pile. We had a great show last night. I'm gonna try to do a recap video this week. All the good stuff. And I will see you guys tomorrow.
But yeah, that's it for now, guys. Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Oh no! Oh no!
Thank you so much for watching this video. Spread love and spread kindness. Stay blessed.
And I will see you mañanas. Mwah!
Drifting slowly into an empty space where I can go. I'm just a roadblock for you, it seems. It's never enough, but I care so deeply. Holding